Hey, everybody. Warm welcome back to We Rise and Soar Open House. And we're inviting you back on a day where we got a little bit of sunshine. We have amazing Marisol and Kimberly here, and we are absolutely laughing because there is absolutely no connection at the moment to LinkedIn or technology. So we're just thanking you for being here live on replays for whatever blessings this day is going to bring. And we want to thank Marisol and Kimberly for joining us live. I'm laughing because a conversation with a dear friend earlier this week, she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm in deep chill." So, back from vacation in deep chill, treasuring life and grateful that you're here to join us today. So, thank you. This toast is for you. And whatever you're celebrating, graduation, new steps, new offers, new something. And for those on LinkedIn who are expecting us under a specific event, hey, come pop in on another platform and let's hang out today. Marisol, I know you were just back from a conference. How was it? Ah, your sounds is playing with us. We had this happen before on our first one. Let's try again, Marcel. We'll send some good energy.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hooray.
Well, I hope it lasts. So, yeah, I just came back from San Diego. Last weekend was the Institute of Functional Medicine conference.
Mm.
It was done in this beautiful hotel with beautiful views and a lot of people international from all over the world coming up and getting together to learn new things from amazing speakers. And I was there helping out the gut ID microbiome test that I use in my own practice. And it was so much fun. So much fun to be there, to talk to people. And even though it was different languages, I felt that we were all speaking the same language. And it was so much fun to
Well, welcome back. It sounds like a fun international event. And how are you, Kimberly?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. I have the pleasure, actually, on a personal note, to spend time with my guys, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm enjoying prioritizing myself and doing that self-care and of course, work, and the coaching. And so I just am feeling really great. It's my one of my favorite times of the year, Mel.
That is fantastic. Ah, I love that. Time to celebrate family and Maricelis celebrating new collaborations and excitement, and I absolutely love that because it's a real reminder that the possibilities part uh, is is really what we kind of need to kind of keep going. We need those energy changes or those energy shifts, those chances to reset. And I'm just laughing today and very grateful y'all are joining me today while technology is kind of playing with us. So, right now on LinkedIn, we have two events, and LinkedIn won't let me copy the link for this event into the other event. What can I tell you? Some magic genie will let that happen. It's not in the mood for copy and paste. And for those of you joining us who may be joining us live on YouTube, hello and how are you? So, what else is happening in your businesses that we can help you shout out to share with someone in between our open houses?
Marisol, would you like to kind of go first?
Sure. Well, what's going on everywhere is the use of, in my area, well, but let me introduce what I do first. I do 5 things with clients and with the same objective to extend health span, which is the time that we are alive in optimal health. So basically, I help people upgrade their biology, upgrade their physiology so that they can function better, whatever that means, wherever they are in their health journey. And one of the things that, in my experience, is very relevant is metabolic health, which is how we, get energy from the food we eat, our nutrition, our exercise, our lifestyle. And I've been, since earlier this year, I noticed a huge demand on the topic of the use of GLP-1s, which are medicines for,
Mhm.
improving metabolic health. And I've seen amazing results. And now it's everywhere. And now everybody's curious. So I decided to talk about it openly. I'm hosting a masterclass actually tomorrow. It's a series of opportunities to hold a space and just, invite everybody who is curious about, should I do this? What should I do if I am on them? Or how would I, stop if I decide to stop using them? What do I need to know? So it's an invitation for everybody who is curious and bringing question. And if there's something that I don't know, well, I'm fascinating in learning. That's one of my, um, engines that is driving me, to learn more. So when people come and say, how about this or how about that, I'm like, I don't know, but I'll be super happy to find out and share. So that's my latest, trend in what I'm doing, I'm seeing with people.
I love that as someone who's been on GLP-1s for a bit and someone who is also delighted to be one of Maricel's amazing clients. This woman is absolutely fantastic. And I think part of it is that Marisol has a talent for helping us dream of living in full color.
Oh,
We think of our health, and you think of that sometimes as the reports. They're the lab reports you get from the doctor. They're the notice you get to register and give new information. And it doesn't seem to be in it doesn't always seem to be in full color. What I laughed at was on vacation last week, Mel appeared to be a mermaid. I saw the picture of an amazing pool that I looked forward to diving into the second I got there. And the second I got there, I was on empty gas tank, just sometimes waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, even when we have a flight, can be a little challenging. So we arrived, and I had to learn to to sleep and nourish and fill my tank, which is one of the wonderful advice things that Maricel had left with me. And the next day I became a mermaid, you know? And I laugh because I think it's a dream. We think of that as kids and as, in some our weather's warming up. It's about 86 degrees here, and I I I haven't played full out like that in water for like 7 days. And I met like the most amazing people. And I laughed because somebody asked me earlier this week what I was up to. I said, I am keeping those energy reserves. We call them sage energies, or I call them sustainable energies. I'm making sure that my tank is full before I take another new step this week. I'm giving myself space to like breathe and grow. And I have to really thank Marisol for that. The thing that I love in the name of her company is that the word extension exists, and I had to learn to define what extension looks like to me. So, Kimberly, hanging out with your sons sounds fantastic. Sounds fantastic. And in between, you're having your fabulous rooms on Clubhouse. What's up in your world this week?
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, I guess I don't really talk a lot about that, do I? So every Tuesday, I have a conversation. It's called the Emotional Intelligence Edge. And I'm so excited because we're going to have some new guests, some featured guests. So I would love for everyone to come out and check just check it out, join the conversation. Again, with this guest, we're really going to have the opportunity to integrate the information that we've been taking in for I don't know how long. But it's really exciting because I think every time we have the conversation, we're taking in a new skill, but then we have an integration portion. But now we're actually going to be able to see the integration live through our special guest. And so I just invite everyone to kind of join the conversation, show your insight and perspective. And great news, uh, working with women who are balancing a lot of competing priorities. A lot of times we can't necessarily always be present for these live events. So I have a community called the Institute for Servant Leadership that I have created. And you can come in and kind of get the highlight through a graphic. Just check it out. I'm more than happy to share that replay for you because the fantastic thing about Clubhouse is that these conversations are on replay. So if you're in the car, if you're cleaning, if you're doing whatever you're doing in your life, and I know if I'm talking to the ladies, they're doing a lot of things. And gentlemen, I am no means leaving you out. You definitely have a lot going on as well. And then on Wednesdays, having a conversation called Emotional Mastery for Modern Leaders. So that's the ongoing container where we have a variety of different topics. That conversation is a collaboration. Well, they're all collaborations, but it's a collaboration that's near and dear to me with Dr. Lisa Drew. And we're exploring emotional mastery like it's never been explored before. And so, again, you can join us in the Institute of Servant Leadership because we would love to have you there. Why? Because we want to hear your insights. We want to hear your perspectives. Because that, at the end of the day, that's how we grow. We're not meant to do life by ourselves. We're meant to do it in community. And community doesn't always mean that we have to feel the pressure of showing up. Sometimes it just means that we check out the highlights and plan for a future conversation. So that's just a little bit of what's going on. Thanks, Mel.
Thanks for sharing. And I remember when Kimberly first invited me into servant leadership, I'm like, wow, what in the world does this mean to Kimberly? What I love is Kimberly's got a wonderful community where she's exploring leadership and all of its dimensions and really what it means to us. Another cool thing she's doing is shouting out members of the community so we get a chance to kind of learn about each other. And for those who aren't on Clubhouse, Kimberly is sharing these really cool infographics kind of summarizing some of the moving parts of the discussions and the dialogues. And I think that's the part. There's so much knowledge, so many spaces in which we can't always be fully present. And Kimberly's sharing the recordings as well as the infographics, so we know at least what to dive into and which conversations might be really important to what's happening with us in our world. I think I'm also really enjoying this state of exploration that I'm currently in. And people say, "What do you mean? You're a coach, you're a teacher's kid." I'm leaning into a bit of what Kimberly said. Mom today is heading towards her 70th high school reunion.
I love it.
And this is her first time of attending a reunion recently. where she hasn't been a coordinator for her class. So in this state of exploration, I said to mom, you have an opportunity to just attend, to
Mhm.
just have fun, to just be fully present, and to not be invested. Okay, this year, your class is not winning the award for raising the most funds. And she's curious as to whether representatives from the previous milestone class will attend. I said, if not, you'll be there live and in person. But it really reminds me, in this process of kind of really trying to be really aware and really present, we really have to avoid the overload. And I think one thing also that Marisol's been really helpful is trying also to avoid the overwhelm. There's a lot coming at us from a lot of different directions. And just like these amazing, talented women who are joining us today, and those of you who will catch us later on the replay, I want to encourage you to reach out and discover more about their services. If there's somebody you know, as Marisol said, who is on a GLP-1 journey or considering joining one, Marisol's having an upcoming series where she's sharing the knowledge and she's kind of keeping it bite sized. What I love too about hanging out with Kimberly in her leadership communities is I never know what we'll talk about next from a perspective of emotional mastery. And and I think that's the invitation really that's really behind We Rise and Soar. We Rise and Soar is something that came out during the pandemic. And at the beginning of the year, I was thinking over the holidays of what do we want to do? How do we want to show up? And I
Mhm.
have to thank Exquisite Eve for these phoenix wings. We really want to help each other fly and we want to help each other lift up, whether it's through mentorship, whether it's through education, whether it's through resources. One of the things that I did last month, which was kind of interesting, was launch a webinar series, Cultivate Trust in a Fragile AI World. And I had envisioned the launch very differently. And I had to give myself permission to do it in a different way that kind of felt aligned. And that's what I'd love to invite others who are joining us to do. Share it in a way. Ah, Zion. Ooh, thank you so much, darling. Zion, goodness knows what is up with LinkedIn today. I want to thank you for being here with us today. And if you have not met this amazing man, this gentleman called Mr. Positive Energy TV is an understatement.
Hmm.
It is an absolute understatement. Zion's got a voice. I would follow him anywhere. One day we're going to meet him, and like I tease about Exquisite Eve, we'll end up taking over an airport. We'll be his fans will be lining up to welcome him. But we really have to thank you for joining us and bringing the right energies. We're talking about living in a world where we really want to lift each other up. And sometimes we know that load, whether we're carrying it individually or we're in communities, or it can be a bit. And if you haven't had a chance, follow Zion on oh goodness, humbled by my kind words. You, oh my gosh. Mr. Positive Energy TV is an understatement. And I'm looking forward to joining you at an upcoming event, whether it's Social Saturday Chat or one of your other wonderful live streams that you're having. But Zion reminds us to show up. There's times where we don't necessarily have the energy. We're not sure we're in the right space. And I really just have to thank you for popping in and letting us know today that YouTube is working well. I think, Kimberly, one of the fun parts about it is that And for those who are joining us on Meta right now, thank you also for your energy. We see you, we hear you. If there's an offer that we can help you shout out, if there's an event, please share it in a chat or a comment. We'll be happy. We would love to echo it out. Marisol, your GLP-1 series, are you launching it tomorrow and will it continue?
Well, I already started. It's just a conversation, an open space where people just come with questions, and we all understand with more clarity, what are they, what to expect if you're curious, how to get same or similar results with natural interventions, what to do if you are taking them, what to pay attention to, because this is not something, it's like what I'm saying is, I compare the training wheels when you want to ride a bike. So as training wheels. And that's when I go and I support them on many aspects. It's not just take them and forget about, it requires a whole structure around it. So when you are done, you are ready, right, to navigate and take advantage of this opportunity, of this journey. So that's the intention. And I started. This is the third time that I'm talking about this, having this conversation. It's a masterclass tomorrow, Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. It's free. And after this, if I have more demand, if people wants to, learn more about this, I'm fascinated because one of the things that I do is I attach the nutrigenomic, which is the genetic blueprint that you have, like, and people don't know, like, there's only 13% of people who are on GLP-1s, for example, who don't get the results. And they think that, why is this happening, right? And some people don't have the specific genotype, the specific genes to take advantage of this medication. And I think that is information that is super relevant, and everybody should know. Who's considering going through this medication should know before, right? If you can. Why? Because that way you don't have false expectations. And if you do have certain SNPs that are making you prone to, let's say, lose muscles too fast, then we have to support that. And that approach will be different from someone else who is different in that sense, right? In their genetics. So to me, it's fascinating. The more I learn, the more I think that we have to go into that direction of personalized. The more we know about ourselves, the better, the more accuracy we can put in our plans, and the better experience we'll have with this support.
I absolutely love that because my brother's GLP-1 journey was very different than mine. And what I smiled at was when I started mine, my doctor suggested it because of an urgent need to kind of flip my A1C. And for those who may not have known previously, diabetes runs throughout generations in my family. And I didn't pay any attention to it. And I needed to. And I think sometimes too, when someone's suggesting something, I was totally resistant because I'm like, I am needle phobic. You want me to give myself a shot and weekly, and I'm not necessarily recommending it for others. But I know for myself, there's now a level. Hey, Felipe, warm welcome. And thanks, Coach Carrie, for joining us. I think what I love about the conversations with Marisol about health journeys are that Marisol and I are speaking about where I was, where I am, and where I want to go. And I think that's not something necessarily that we have conversations about in terms of our health. You may have 20 minutes with your doctor during a checkup. You may have an hour with your doctor. Hey, Nick, how are you? Warm welcome. The LinkedIn peoples are here. Bless you for warm and wonderful energies. I think the thing that I really had to get over was that first shot. I needed two family members to kind of coach me through it.
Mm.
And it's a real reminder. that we really do have a lot of fears around our health.
Yeah.
Some are spoken, some are unspoken, some are shared. But I know, yep, Coach Carrie, yep, family health can be a great indicator. But, other family members, they expected my experience to be my brother's experience. We're all
Mm.
different.
Yeah.
It's kind of like and I think that's one of the things that I love from working with Maricel. I had no idea what in the world epigenetics was.
Mm.
I had no idea that there were so many different levels to look at in terms of our health, whether we look sometimes through the lens of a family heredity,
Mm.
or and I've got a bunch of friends who are searching for family members to try and get a better idea of their family history. What I love is Maricel reminded me, just like I encourage people from a perspective of trust, we've got to really be fully present and pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So this is relaxed Mel, who played full out as a kid all last week. I would like to go back to that pool in Turks and Caicos. It was hot. It was hot. It was crazy. I will gladly share that picture of a pool with anybody who needs to imagine one in their future. And I now have pictures of that pool at sunrise, at sunset, while in it, while outside of it. But the real reminder, and I have to thank vacations for the inspiration. I am now looking for watery images to put on bevisiblesolutions.com to kind of match with the energy that
Mm.
just want to reflect. But I think one of the challenging parts about GLP-1s is that they work for everybody. They don't. It
Mm.
only works if we accept it. Hey, Marnie, how are you? My goodness. Marnie from Minnesota, great to see you. Thank you so much. And Marnie, I'm glad it popped up on your feed because LinkedIn decided that our original event did not exist in terms of StreamYard. So thank you so much for popping in with great energy. But I think that the solutions part that we're all searching for, whether they're health solutions, whether they're relationship solutions, whether they're business solutions, we're all looking for a framework that we can kind of adapt for ourselves. Like what works,
Mm.
and and take really good steps to that. Hey, Lisa Fevek. Woo, we are talking about health. And Lisa, I was having a chat with yesterday with a dear friend about perimenopause. And beautiful Lachelle is here. How are you, gorgeous? I tell you, I had so much fun watching you and Jerome. Woo! For those of you who have not met the smiling Lachelle, who looks like she might be almost getting ready for an airport cockpit today. Where are you, honey? What parking lot are you in?
I'm actually in the car, okay? And I was running an errand with my daughter and I happened to see the notification. I was like, "Oh my goodness, I totally spaced, the call for today." So I'm glad I was able to catch you live cuz I have been thinking about you. Okay? It's just life is happening. I'm actually getting ready for a party this evening. My daughter Alexandria is turning 30. So she's having a formal family prom type thing. So, it's
Oh,
a lot of moving parts. Okay. It never stops.
that sounds wonderful. A family prom. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
hmm
Hmm.
So they
So are
come up
you?
with a lot of stuff. So,
Hey, you've got wonderful creative family, but I really loved seeing earlier this week, just coming back from vacation, a picture of your
hmm
handsome Jerome with Hope. And it was funny. It reminded me because
oh,
Rick's birthday was last week, and Rick Shearer of Network Fusion, a dear friend, and like Lachelle,
yeah.
they were around for the original We Rise and Soar. And I was smiling because I remember Hope giving Rick math problems on Zoom.
Yeah. Yes.
She never
Yeah.
wrote the numbers
Yeah.
down. She would give him math problems with 7 and 8 digits. have no idea how he was able to, to keep up with her. But man, just that reminder to like lean in and laugh and really
Yeah.
enjoy family. And yes, Nick, Lachelle is always looking great. Hey Mike, how are you? Thanks for the warm welcome. I'm telling you, LinkedIn looked like we weren't gonna have our peoples, and we want to thank you for joining us today. Lachelle, what's happening next week that we should know about and follow you and come and participate in?
Well, I'm still active on Clubhouse, believe it or not. So we still have our book club that we do on Saturdays. And then on Sundays, I just have a weekly room where we take one word and we just discuss it and work on personal development. But one of the things that I'm excited about is I'm hosting a series for the month of June for people who want to learn how to attract media to their brand. So this situation where I was recently on the Portia show just really opened up a lot of dialogue with people that are in my network where I was able to create this opportunity just simply from a press release. So I'm hosting a series for people to learn how to use tools in order to build their exposure and bring in credibility. So that's something that I'm doing for the month of June, and people can sign up. There's some dates that are available on the calendar, and that's pretty much all I've got. My kids are running me from one thing to the other, so it is that kind of summer time for me. So just fitting in my business when I can, okay? Because they definitely try to pack my calendar.
Hey, the good news is you've got a generation of grandchildren who are going to have plans for your calendar too. So we hope
Absolutely.
you get a couple of naps in there.
Isn't that the truth? Okay, it's like hide and seek. Let me go hide somewhere.
I absolutely love that. I was teasing someone as I'm back from vacation, and Marisol will laugh. I really was reminded of that process of rest that we don't often
Mhm.
disconnect in between launches and phases and offers and meetings and projects. I think one of the things I deliberately did this week, and people will say it, I do have openings on my calendar, but I was laughing. I made sure this week that I didn't run from one meeting to another. It's not a habit that I emulate.
Yeah.
It's not a habit that I recommend, especially as Lachelle would say, been in virtual spaces. What's now getting to be about a good, we're approaching 2 decades. I had to really learn
Yeah.
about that battery tank thing. I've been talking a lot about energies, and one of my coaches is like, "What in the world do you mean that you're measuring returns on energies?" I'm measuring where the energy is dissipating, and really being really
Mhm.
conscious of what it takes not to maintain a full energy tank, because that's impossible. But I think I really
Mhm.
enjoyed this week that I took a step back. Yep, Coach Carrie, disconnecting is essential for health and well-being. But as in the process of encouraging my mom as she's heading towards her 70th high school reunion today. And I was reminded in
Oh,
the
that is
process,
awesome.
but I'm laughing because I haven't been to one. I have not been to one high school reunion.
Yeah.
So
Well,
next year is
I didn't go to mine. I didn't go to one of mine until like maybe my 20th or something because I was having kids. So I had either just had a kid or they were little. So I totally agree with that, but that's awesome that she is still staying with her people. So I think that's really good.
I think the thing too that was really good about the framework of really having more space for lots of conversations with her about the history and how relationships are changing is the real reminder to be present. Yup, Marnie, you're right. Uh, just even just creating spaces for breaks. Um, it's something Marisol and I have talked about a lot in the process of working with this amazing woman. And one of the things that I love was I really had to remember last week. I needed to really redefine what play was, and that's something I think we don't think of as adults. We think of, encouraging our clients to experiment, to explore, but I don't think we often share an invitation to play and to play full out. So I'm promising to bring that version of Mel into everything else that I do this summer. And it's interesting because in a couple of weeks, we'll have Cultivate Trust in a Fragile AI World. We'll resume that series on June 22nd with Coming Out of the Dark. And I, I really, really think of that practice of whether it's breath work, whether it's visualization, whether it's meditation, but I think also leaning into some of the musical themes that have, you know, that seem to be the backdrop. Um, I think one of the things I loved last week was just leaning into conversations and in the process of some say we listen to respond and to not do that, to on our last day of vacation I met like the most amazing woman, and I cannot wait to meet her at home. And she's like, "Oh, I've got an Airbnb, you got to come stay with me." I'm like, "Come stay with you?" She's like, "Yeah, come stay with us." I said, "I'll only come stay if we can come cook. If we can come cook." Now, I need to warn you, before I'm in your kitchen, it takes me a bit. If you're looking to have a meal in an hour, I am possibly not your girl. Mel can chop vegetables for 3 or 4 hours. I find it extremely relaxing. I would be a good sous chef somewhere. And yep, and Anne, oh, I love that. Anne's mentioning about bringing play and laughter back. And Anne Catillas was my guest on Monday for Impossible Live. And Anne helped us explore from a leadership lens, leading with heart clarity. I I really, really loved it. And Kimberly, thank you for popping in and being one of those who enjoyed us. And yep, Marnie, let's definitely do that. Marnie, I'll come visit. If you're inviting your friends out for a swim, I love that. I'm there. I think the thing that I found was interesting last week was I bought like a special accessory so I could backfloat, and I didn't backfloat once a week, once at all. But I did learn, as we're talking about it from a health perspective, that we need to put suntan lotion on the backs of our hands. I had no idea. So Mel is back with her first sunburn in life. And I was really reminded, um, we, as I looked at the back of my hands the night before coming back, I'm like, my gosh, what in the world did I do? But I think I would love to encourage us to do that. And I know I've set up a couple of different dates for our upcoming We Rise and Soar open houses. You'll notice I also moved our June 19th. I didn't realize when I was picking the date, it was Juneteenth. I will be with mom. And mom, one of the gifts I can give to my mom is to not go live from her living room. So, hey, Jedi J, warm welcome. So we are moving that date back in June, but I picked 2 dates in July. And if we haven't had a conversation across platforms, please reach out. I would just love to reconnect. And part of that is that besides We Rise and Soar, just this process of helping each other kind of eliminate the isolation, eliminate some of the heavy lifting. And hello, Jay Pasqua. What a pleasure. Thank you so much for popping in and joining us today. But I think that as Maricel's planning an upcoming health series, please shout out this wonderful woman who I need to leave a video testimonial as well as a written one. She's a game changer. And I think Maricel's helping me acknowledge something that I don't usually say out loud. When I meet you, I know if I will hire you. I know it the day that we meet. And I just want to frame that for those who are trying to sell. And you're maybe reaching out in a direct message. You're reaching out with what is to someone else may feel like a pitch slap. Keep creating conversations with people who are ideal future clients and ideal future collaborators so we can help each other lift up and keep shouting each other out. And amazing Kimberly, besides joining me a couple of times this summer as we continue our Pockets of Peace conversations on Possible Live, Kimberly's also going to pop in August into our Cultivate Trust in a Fragile AI World series. For those of you who haven't popped into that series yet, for those of you who may need a scholarship to pop in, please don't hesitate to reach out. For those of you who may need a gift certificate, and for those of you who haven't looked at my LinkedIn banner, they're like, what in the world is Mel talking about? Cultivate Trust in a Fragile AI World is not to teach you how to use AI, because Mel is not certified in AI. It is one of the certifications I can promise you Mel will not pursue. I didn't trust AI. And that, I had a fear of it. And that is why we're creating a community and a trust container around discussing AI and kind of keeping it eye level so that we help each other have the confidence to explore it on our own terms whenever we're ready. Beautiful Kimberly, what are your topics upcoming on Clubhouse this week that we should know about?
Well, like I said, the Tuesday conversation is a guest speaker. So she's going to be sharing, and it's actually Josette Peloton. I'll be posting that later today. She's going to be talking about emotional intelligence in regards to her experience and her expertise. And so we're not only going to be able to learn a little bit more deeply about Josette, but we're also going to be able to integrate all of these skills that we have been sharpening over the course of time. And you may be sharpening them in other places as well, which makes it even more richer. And then Wednesday, again, emotional mastery for modern leaders. And I'm just going to leave that up for a surprise, but you can request to join Institute for Servant Leadership or reach out. And I would love to have a conversation with anyone who'd like to have a deeper conversation, just getting to know one another and see if that's the right space for you. But again, it's an inspiration over the course of time for a body of work that I feel like, not realizing it, I've been doing for a lifetime. And I've been doing it for a lifetime, but I never really thought about it in terms of showcasing it or shouting it out or doing any of that. It's the difference I feel from the being and the doing of things. That's my natural state, is being. And I think I think, that doing is a transition, but I do want to talk about what a few of the things. Is there time, Mel, to kind of chat about some of the pieces that you were talking about? I don't think that we've explored enough what the words cognitive load really mean. And I know Maricel might have done, do that in her work. I'm not sure, but it definitely impacts our health and our well-being. And I think it happens a lot of times without us even knowing it's happening. But to really be mindful of what your cognitive load is, and looking at some of those physical symptoms that you may be experiencing as a result, before it's a surprise in something greater in a health or um, a health condition, and it sometimes can creep up on us. So I love what you were saying about energy and how you're just really mindful of that energy and what that exchange looks like. Because for me, in working with people and relate in the area of relationships, reciprocity is very important. And oftentimes, myself included, we can feel like we're in relationship with others when there is no reciprocity. And that's because we're out of alignment and out of balance. And we're not realizing that we're giving, but we're not receiving in exchange. And that's really, really important. And then my last thought is this AI. Mel, I was thinking a lot about what you've been saying in regards to, cultivating trust in a fragile AI world. And I've been thinking a lot about that and having a lot of conversations in regards to AI and really kind of having the conversations because I think there's a lot that's going on behind the scenes. Again, just like this conversation on cognitive load. And I'm not trying to add to anyone's cognitive load here. Take what resonates and leave the rest. But when we have families, when we are leading our families, it's really important, even if it's just a few minutes per week, to have those conversations. And I know this isn't a conversation about AI. And like Mel said, she's not certified in AI. I am not either. I'm coming from the standpoint that it's an important topic to consider when we're leading our families, and when just explore it on your own time, and make sure that you're making the decisions that you want to make around it, because it does add to our cognitive load.
I have to really thank you for framing that so clearly. I, in a conversation with Maricel before the plane left, Maricel reminded me that Mel needed to learn how to turn my battery pack off. I had to locate the battery pack first. And I think, and I smiled because the conversation that I had with a collaborator recently, they're like, I'm worried about you because you mentioned the word chill. Chill means relax. I didn't say Netflix and chill. But chill means relax. And chill means finding a way for myself to kind of break through some of the layers and the pace at which we're operating. I I laughed because having a similar conversation with a team member this week says we kind of were talking about that. We both took a break at the same time. And I think, we used to laugh, whether it was in jingles, you'd hear, you deserve a break today, but we don't often give ourselves one. And one of the things I loved that inspired the Pockets of Peace series that Kimberly and I are doing was that process of creating a sacred pause. I had to learn that in between weekly events, in between supporting people in trust journeys, in between supporting family members, in between being a member of the sandwich generation, that I needed to redefine the terms and the operating system for Mill. And I thank beautiful Marisol and Gwen White because working with two amazing coaches at the same time and almost simultaneously on different levels, because I think what Kimberly's saying about cognitive load is Mike is saying he uses AI as a thinking partner, which offloads some of his cognitive load. I had to learn for me, Mike, AI provides such a volume of content that coaches and collaborators were sharing 50 and 60 and 70-page documents with me. If you share a 60 or 70-page document with someone in the evening before bed, I'm the reader. I would read it. And I had to really learn in the process of working with Maricel, my eyes were starting to feel that load, the need to not consume information at a faster pace, not necessarily digest it, but my eyes were starting to reflect a load that I hadn't yet acknowledged. And Marisol's like, "You're going to get your eyes checked." I'm like, "Yep." And then you'll laugh because, of course, I ordered these glasses, and as Coach Carey would say, the original glasses were on back order. So it reminded me as I then broke the glasses. Hey, Margaret, how are you? Thank you for joining us today. I think in this conversation, as we're replaying it and as we're looking at it, is just like We Rise and Soar. What can we do to lighten some of the load that others are carrying without doubling or tripling our loads, and especially if they're family members? So I think from that part of We Rise and Soar, if there's an opportunity to kind of share the load, share some of the steps, share some of the tips, pop in and join Maricel tomorrow, and I'll make sure we put a link in for Maricel's event across platforms. Pop in and join Kimberly on Clubhouse. Join Maria Wade joins me on Monday for Leadership, the Drama Triangle. And if you haven't had a chance to pop into Cultivate Trust in a Fragile AI World, let's chat. And Mike's reminding us many are certified around us. And the reminder that for ourselves, we need to keep looking at those operating systems, make sure they don't get clogged. Don't run out of batteries. Don't run out of energies. Don't double or triple or quadruple your load without finding some help. But we want to thank you for joining us for We Rise and Soar Open House today. If you're interested in joining us as a speaker for an upcoming one, please reach out. Our next one is June 22nd. You'll notice also taking a mid-month break from We Rise and Soar to support some dear friends and celebrate the life of a dear, wonderful friend. And on that note, complex seasons of gratitude, grief, and growth. Keep raising a glass. Stay hydrated. I had to learn, and Maricel will laugh. I had the day where I drank 5 liters of fluid, including electrolytes. Take great time for yourself, great time for your family. Reach out to someone you know who needs a hug, a kiss, a plate, a hand. And Mike is mentioning his concern about how we might be allowing AI to shape us unknowingly. And this is what I love about working with Maricel. Maricel is reminding me, just like Kimberly reminds me, I have to remember to listen to Mel's voice. When there's so much happening that I can't hear it, time to slow down a little bit. And yes, Coach Carey, we will look to see what glasses Coach Carey has on her weekend shows, because Coach Carey says glasses are part of an elevated vibe. If you have not, besides raising your glass, if you have not had an eye exam recently, please take some time, take some space. And thank you for joining us today in our pop-up LinkedIn Live. And Anne saying she's planning on recharging her batteries this weekend. I've got one of those too before tackling next week. And for those of you who may have a grocery store that has Smithfield half hams, I need to locate 4 and butts in 4 days. If you were in another state and I could drive to you, so that, yep. So if I'm offline next Thursday, Mel will be cooking, cooking for family. But be well.
Now,
Thank you so much for joining us today. Yep, Kimberly.
that's interesting. You said Smithfield because they're right down the street from us.
Kimberly, this is not a joke. I was looking yesterday and shortly. I was looking at Winn Dixie's. I am trying to locate 4 hams so I can deliver them to a family member in time for a repass. And as you would say, part of this is a supply chain management thing. And you'll laugh. Looking at AI is not helping me find the solution. So time to call good humans. To those of you who we have not had a chance recently, stay safe, stay well, stay inspired, stay in touch, take great care. Check out these beautiful, lovely ladies and all of those that you can find in the chat, all these amazing content creators who popped in to join us today. But have a peaceful day and a peaceful couple of weeks filled with blessings, opportunities, and possibilities. Take great care. Be well. And thanks again for joining us.